Hey everyone, we are starting the war on algae. So let's take a look. So, one of the things I mentioned in my last video is that we were starting a war on this gross stuff called black-beard algae. And that's all the little fuzzy stuff that you see there on the rocks. We have some here, just that little faint black fuzz trail. We have some here on the plants. This rock right here has a lot of it. And one of the things I mentioned was that I was going to call in some reinforcements to try to get rid of this stuff. So a cool thing is that a couple of those reinforcements came in early, and I want to share those with you. So that guy right there against the glass, that is a hillstream loach. These guys with the black stripes, they are Siamese algae eaters. And the cool thing about these fish specifically is that they will eat actual black-beard algae. They are omnivores. They'll kind of eat whatever is available. But the cool thing is that the youth Siamese algae eaters, oh hey shrimp, will focus on algae on the plants, including black-beard algae. There's the other algae eater we got in. That's a hillstream loach. And you can see towards me that leaf right there from the Amazon sword has some of that gross black-beard algae. And again, the reason we want to get rid of that, oh, there's a auto working on some of it. The reason we want to get rid of that stuff on the plants especially is that it limits the plant's ability to photosynthesize. So we see some debris in the water. This water was 10 times clearer earlier in the day, and I got this bright idea that I would take a small net with some floss filter and just kind of swish it back and forth to collect some of the larger debris, which worked really well to get rid of the smaller debris, but the swishing back and forth kicked up a bunch of the smaller stuff. So like I mentioned before, I wanted to add a polishing filter. It uses like a floss type mat. I've added 2 of those to my hang on the back that runs 24/7, and it's been doing a great job in getting rid of some of that junk. But then I kicked up a whole bunch of extra junk. So you can kind of see some of the baby mollies getting in on that. One of the shrimp. Yeah, they like all that little stuff. So again, those guys right there with the black stripes, those are known as Siamese algae eaters. They aggressively will attack algae and hopefully we will see within the next couple of days a bit of difference once they get kind of acclimated to the tank, their surroundings, see where the food is. There's one of the little autos. These guys are one of my favorites. There's another one. Love these little guys. They're more focused on like the green algae. They're very docile. But just cute little guys. They kind of dart around the tank, going from spot to spot, finding where they want to get food. But here is the main event. Like I said, these are the Siamese algae eaters, and they will eat green algae and the blackbeard algae. They are a schooling fish. You can put just one or two in a small tank. They'll do alright, but it's best to get a few of them so that they can group up and shoal. You can see that that's what they're doing there. And so I have 8 in here right now on this 55 gallon, and I'm just gonna let them go to work. Like I said earlier, algae eaters work best when you make them hungry for algae. So again, technically all these black mollies will eat algae as well, but they rather eat fish food, that high quality stuff. So I am going to have to cut back on the normal feeding, normal tank feeding for these guys, so that they can focus a little bit more on algae. And I want to make sure that these new Siamese algae eaters focus on it as well. Siamese algae eaters do their best work when they are younger juveniles. Once they get full grown, they get a little bit less interested in cleaning up algae. That's when they want to start seeing more of regular fish food and things like that. Another thing about them is that they will tend to focus on algae that is growing on live plants as opposed to rocks and wood. So I'm glad to see these guys actually focusing on this dragonstone. My biggest thing is trying to get some of this stuff off the substrate, and hopefully they will work towards that. But I also have some newer plants that are kind of suffering. You can see it on the grass there. On the micro sword, this dragonstone is just covered in BBA. I might actually pull that out and just scrub it down to try to get rid of some of it. But yeah, so first phase of declaring war on the algae in my tank is here. These are the Siamese algae eaters. Little guys with black stripes. Phase 2 is coming next week. Got some more things on order, including some Amano shrimp that also will eat that blackbeard algae, as well as some nerite snails. So I do have snails You can see that one right there. These guys up against the glass. There's a bunch right there. These are known as bladder snails. They'll just kind of eat whatever, keep the glass clean. Not really great on that blackbeard algae, but the nerate snails specifically will eat that fuzzy stuff. So we'll get those in next week when they arrive in the mail. We'll get the Amano shrimp. There's some of that molly fry. Getting some of that smaller stuff. Hillstream loach. More of a green algae eater. There's another one. There's a large ghost shrimp. So they eat what they can get, but not necessarily blackbeard algae eaters, and the Amano shrimp are. So really looking forward to getting them, adding them to the tank. Again, there's a lot of debris in here. Like I said, just a few hours ago it was much cleaner, and I started getting some of the larger debris, this little plant debris that you can see there out. But as I was swishing around with my net and sponge, kind of kicked up a lot of stuff in the water column. So this hang on the back filter should clean it up. I did add, like I said, a couple of polishing filters, or like a floss, which is really fine. So as it goes through that sponge up the tube and then down through those bits of sponge up through the floss, anything that's real fine that we're still seeing in the water column will get picked up. So I fully expect by tomorrow this should all look a lot better. But here we go. Waging war on algae. Thanks for joining me. If you like this, hit the like, hit subscribe, and I will continue to add content. Thank you.